an unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad? I'll go first. Your children, they do not owe you respect. You have to earn their respect the same way you have to earn everyone else's. A lot of y'all think respect is following your rules and not being rude to you, but we follow the law and we don't respect the law. We listen to our teachers and we follow their directions and do what they ask us to do as well. But we don't always respect our teachers. Your children can do everything that you ask them to do and be the perfect child in your eyes, but it does not mean that they do respect you or that they have to. What's an unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
I had to do this one. I have always told my kids that they are not obligated to be blindly respectful to adults. If an adult is being rude and disrespectful to them, they are allowed to stand up for themselves. They are allowed to talk back, and they are allowed to tell them that it's not okay. They are allowed to argue with an adult if they are right and the adult is wrong.
What's an unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
A lot of your children don't respect you. They're fucking scared of you. And once they get to the age where they're no longer scared of you, all the respect you think they have for you is going to go out the window and you're going to be fucked.
What's an unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Your kids deserve an explanation. If you prevent your kids from questioning you, or you always say, because I said so, it demonstrates a deficit in your communication skills, and it limits your child's ability to reason effectively. If your child is going to learn effective critical thinking and reasoning, you need to expose them to your method of critical thinking and reasoning, and be open to them evaluating your reasoning and telling you when stuff don't make sense.
What's an unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad? I'll go first.
Some of y'all gonna be mad about this, but I don't give a fuck. Corporal punishment and whooping kids is really fucking suspect, and it's really fucking weird. What is the appeal of hitting a toddler? Why are you whooping a 1-year-old? Like, that shit doesn't compute to me. And then the people that are on the internet that fantasize about beating the fuck out of their kids, like, hey, I can't wait till I have a kid so I can beat them the hell up, so I can whoop their ass. For what? I think y'all don't give kids enough credit because they do have enough cognitive intelligence to learn and listen without having to be hit for punishment. Because that just instills fear. What are you doing? They're scared of you. They don't respect you. They're fucking scared. Ugh.
What's an unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad? I'll go first.
So y'all boys say make this a series, so that's what we gonna do. But this the last one for the night, because I'm not gonna be doing these all night. The next one on my list is a lot of y'all show conditional love. And when I say conditional love, y'all only love the kid, especially if y'all have more than one kid. Y'all show more love to the kid that do everything you say, that, you know, don't do no wrong in your eyes, than y'all would the one who fuck up. You know, who make mistakes, who bump their head, who have their own thought process. Y'all don't leave no room for your child to be human. You know, y'all act like they have to be perfect, like y'all ain't never been kids before, like y'all ain't never experienced life before. That shit is fucking toxic, because I feel like people like that don't deserve kids. I don't care. I stand on that, because you're supposed to love your child unconditionally. I don't give a fuck if my child rob a bank. I don't give a fuck if my child is gay. I don't give a fuck if my child smoke weed. I'm gonna love them. Like, what the fuck be wrong with
What's an unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Just because your kid turned out to be a good person doesn't mean you were a good parent. Sometimes a kid will turn into a good person in spite of you, not because of you.
Your children, they do not owe you respect. You have to earn their respect the same way you have to earn everyone else's.
Alright, somebody tag me to this, so y'all already know I gotta give my 2 cents. I mean, is she lying though? I actually agree with her to a certain extent. And if you disagree with her, you might want to go look up the definition of respect. It really be some no shit ass parents out here straight treating their kids like shit, and then be appalled when a kid lack respect for their ass. They really be out here doing the bare minimum, and sometimes they be doing less than that. And then they throw it up in their kid face of what they do as if it's not what they supposed to do. As a parent, you supposed to buy your kids shoes. You supposed to buy your kids clothes. You supposed to provide a roof over their head. The most important one, you supposed to treat your kid like a fucking human. Like, who be out here raising y'all?
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Ooh, I love this one. I love this one. I also have brought this one up, and it does piss a lot of people off, but it's okay. My boys have had all the talks. They've had the rape talk, they've had the domestic abuse talk, they've had the talk to respect women, to treat women with respect, and to be open about your feelings. But they've also had the talk that just because they are a boy does not mean your daughter gets to walk all over them. Your daughter hits them once, you have the right, you can contain them with that one hit. They hit you twice, you still can contain them with the second hit. But your daughter hits my child 3 times and we have a problem. And I hope that you've taught your daughter respect, because after that 3rd hit, my child has the right to rock your daughter's shit.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Y'all be quick as fuck to hit your child, but would not run up on an adult who disrespected you with the same energy, because you know you'll get your ass hit right the fuck back. Y'all take pleasure out of hitting little humans who can't defend themselves, and half the time don't even have the mental capacity to understand why they're being hit, so you're just teaching them to fear their parent. If you rather instill fear in your child than earning their respect and understanding and teaching them why things need to be done a certain way for their safety or what so have you, you should not become a parent. Simple as that. Because now you're just giving your kid all these traumatic things that they have to unlearn and get through as an adult. And most likely they won't, and they will continue the cycle of harming their children instead of just being good parents. Okay? Kids are people, and they should be treated as such.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
If you have a child that is marginalized in a way that you are not, you need to be seeking out information and resources from adults that share your child's marginalization. Because a lot of y'all are way too self-absorbed. You think there can possibly be any gaps in your knowledge, and then you end up fucking up your children. Especially white parents who adopt kids of other races, because I know way too many POC adoptees with horror stories. Like, y'all need to get it together.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad? I'll go first.
Your older children are not your designated babysitters, and it's not their responsibility to watch your kids. I mean, it's amazing if they want to do it, but you can't get mad at a teenager for not wanting to watch their fucking 3-year-old sibling when they have an actual life that they want to go do. I understand if they're living in your house rent-free, that that's the bare minimum that they could do for you. But at the end of the day, they didn't have a kid, they didn't choose to have a kid, and it's not their responsibility to look after them.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
What I'm about to say kind of piggybacks off my last video. Go watch that one if you haven't. But I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one. I don't know what parent needs to hear this, but there is no cutoff age for supporting your kids financially. Allow me to explain. Now, by no means am I saying that once your child has their own full-time job with their own steady source of income, that you should still be financially supporting them. But even that has exceptions if we're being honest. But you're definitely still obligated to support them financially well after they turn 18. Your first instinct should not be to throw caution to the wind and let them figure it out because they're grown now. That's irresponsible on your part. And if your child doesn't want help from you after they turn 18, ask yourself why that is. And some of y'all need to stop acting like the fucking Godfather when you do something for your kids like they owe you something in return. Just do better.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
There's a new wave of parenting that's happening right now where people are allowing their children to be humans and allowing them to have, freedom of choice, expression, autonomy, agency, opinions. And it's pissing off the older generation. But I hate to break it to you. A lot of our grandparents and our parents, the people who are adults, weren't raised correctly. Were raised through trauma, were raised through things that they shouldn't have had to deal with at a very young age, and they think it's normal. And just because something's normal doesn't mean that it's right. Just because you struggled and survived doesn't mean that everyone should have to experience that. Before y'all attack me, they did the best they could with the resources that they had. However, that doesn't excuse the fact that a lot of us are still healing from our childhood, that our parents are still gaslighting us about.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad? I'll go first.
Stop teaching your kids your hate. Growing up, I grew up around different races of people. I grew up around gay people. And you know, I had questions. I had a male cousin, and sometimes he'd wear a skirt, or he'd wear a dress, or he'd put on some makeup, he'd put on a wig. And I asked my mom one time, I was like, Mom, is he a girl or is he a boy? She sat down and she explained it to me. But I'm going to put it in other words. She basically told me in the nicest way possible, mind your business. No, she educated me about it. She said there are some men who like men. There are some women who like women. There are some men who dress like women. There are some women who dress like men. But at the end of the day, no matter what they dress like, no matter who they are, you will treat others how you want to be treated. Stop teaching your kids your hatred.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
If you are someone who allows your children to run around in a restaurant, you are a bad parent who is endangering your child and undermining the good parenting of those who don't let their children run around in restaurants. When other kids see your kid acting a fool, then they get upset with their parents because they're not allowed to run around and act a fool. I worked at a restaurant for years. I saw children get burned by scalding hot coffee when they ran smack into a waitress carrying a coffee pot. I've seen kids bust their head open because they were playing on their chair and then fell backward onto the hard ground. I've seen toddlers defecate on themselves because their parents did not watch them and they drank all the non-dairy creamer at the table, and that stuff, when you're a child, gives you the shits. You chose to be a parent. Pay attention to your children. It's the least you can do for them.